Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wake Up Missoula. I'm your host, Scott Ramf. I have a guest here today. It's Jamie Breidenbach, and she is here to talk about some learning kitchen at the Missoula Food Bank. So they're offering free workshops here in the city of Missoula for people who want to learn to cook, provided by the Missoula Food Bank. So she'll be on here to talk about that. I got some new stuff that are happening, talking about all sorts of things. Missoula is developing townhouses in the Cullen Ditch property, and the city council talk about that and some of the neighbors in the area who don't like the idea of this. So I'll talk about that and more. I also got some more behind the basketball video footage for you guys. So stay with me. I got a lot to talk about today, but let's kick things off with a little bit of weather and some on the snow. So it is currently 36 degrees outside. Today it's going to be pretty warm. You're going to have highs into the 40s for the next couple of days, so it's going to be pretty rainy. Last night I was really surprised because I didn't see any snow on my way home. Maybe, of course, those dirty piles that get piled up on some of the curbs here and around the downtown area, but other than that, most of the snow that I saw in our area has been pretty much dried out, and the sun shined yesterday. Hopefully we'll see some of that today, but looks like there's going to be that 50% chance of rain happening today and Thursday. But then, of course, by Thursday night and Friday, you can expect some of that snow to be happening likely. But as it rains down here, we may see some snow up in the mountains. As you can see here, Whitefish had 2 inches in the last 24 hours. Showdown had 14 inches. So many. Another story I'm going to be talking about later today is we saw a lot of snow in the east of the Rockies areas. So Discovery Ski Area had an inch of snow. So Montana Snowball had an inch of snow. Bridger Bowl, Lost Trail, Red Lodge didn't have any new snow, but they did have a bunch of inches in the last 72 hours. Great Divide had 6 inches. Blacktail Mountain Ski Area had 5 inches. Maverick Mountain, 4 inches in the last 72 hours, but so there is still plenty of snow to go around for everybody who's planning on going out and about on the slopes. But if you want to check, you can go to onthesnow.com for more information on that. Let's talk about some news that are happening. So Bonner Milltown Community Council met Monday evening to talk about that noise that has been consistent throughout the community since this past summer and heard up the Blackfoot 2 miles. Imagine a halogen light humming loudly forever. That's pretty much it in the community in Bonner. A lot of people hear it. Some people don't. A good chunk of the city of the county of the Bonner Community Council do not hear the humming, but of course Steve Nelson, co-owner of the mill, rents out the building to one of the on the site to a Bitcoin operation, and I'm sure you've heard of Bitcoin going through the roof, blah blah blah. All the purpose of this operation is to mine for Bitcoin in a secure facility, but of course the computers need to stay cool, and the fans in place are causing these noise pollution. Nelson has taken upon himself to help solve the problem with the help of companies from Big Sky Acoustics to help solve the problem. Some people based out of Spokane, some sound engineers and whatnot. Biggest suggestion was to have liquid cooling system in place, was suggested by a bunch of public comment in the community. Since it was so close to the river, and their solution in this case is basic, of course, with Big Sky Acoustics and some of the organizations that are in place to help solve this problem, they're basically suggesting quieter fans because in their mind it's cheaper and it will reduce the sound by half, they claim. So it'll go from basically 5-tip metal fans to about 7-tipped carbon fiber fans. It'll be quieter. Because, you know, like one fan is already quieter than the other, so it adds up. So this is a server area of 12,000 servers that have to run, and they have to keep cool to keep this Bitcoin operation going. Most of the people in the area share in the non-man neighborhood feeling towards this Bitcoin operation. The new fans will be put into place later this month and tested for feasibility for an expansion of these fans in general. So as of right now, one of the people are claiming that that there's going to be an expansion of this server operation for Bitcoin, and many of the owners, Steve Nelson on the site has said, like, there is no plans for expansion as of right now. They're working on the problem at hand. All right, so in state news, weather is a big factor that's happening in eastern central Montana. Much of Montana was under winter storm warnings Monday, including Billings, Great Falls, Havre, Kalispell, and Helena. 4.5 inches recorded in Helena on Monday early morning, which continued through Monday afternoon and Tuesday, being Montana schools only get delayed and never get closed. Of course, I would know because I've lived in Missoula forever. Major highways remain open, but many roads, including long stretches of Interstate 15, 90, and 94, were slick with snow and ice. So be aware that another major snowstorm is forecast to hit Montana starting Thursday, although meteorologists say it is too early to predict additional snowfall. The next storm could continue to cause hazardous driving conditions with reduced visibility and potentially for blowing snow. Temperatures are expected to be moderate by Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the 40s before highs fall back down to freezing as the next storm comes in. So be aware that it is going to start snowing later this week. We might get a nice couple of last good snowfalls in the Missoula Valley area, so just be aware of that. And as it snows here, it'll snow further down eastern Montana, so just be aware if you plan on doing any traveling. Maybe today might be a good day, but you never know. So let's talk about some national news. It seems like Bitcoin, the weather, and all that stuff seems to be a big hot topic, but when it comes to publicly traded companies, the NASDAQ and the Dow has been not good for a lot of people. After opening down more than 500 points, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up more than 250 points just before 10 a.m. In the end, the Dow closed up 567 points, 2.3% to 24,912. Of course, the last 9 years, the Dow has seen steadily increases, but of course they had a record 1,175 point drop on Monday. The U.S. major stock indexes also rebounded Tuesday, with the 500 finishing up 46 points and 1.7%. The NASDAQ is up 148 points, or 2.1%. Of course, all this growth has been happening since the crash back in 2009, and you know, it's been basically going up pretty much nonstop. But seeing this kind of dip is kind of like gotten people kind of on edge. But of course, many people are wondering why this happened. And what happened is that there was a so let's see, they have an effect on, let's see, okay, here it is. The question that many of you have is why the big drop, and NPR reported on this, saying that the market rout can be traced back to jobs report that was reported last Friday, which showed a pickup in the pace of wage growth. While that's good for news for workers, it has sparked concern about inflation, which has caused, this usually means that the Federal Reserve will start increasing interest rates that can have the effect on slowing economic growth by making it more expensive to borrow all kinds of things, from home mortgages to car loans to credit and card debt. So the Dow is set to slowly regain some of the points over time, and it's clear that this dip is a reaction to this report, but in no way is a crash as of right now. So we got to keep our eye on the stock market for any future rendition, but I've been keeping my guest waiting a little bit too long, but here is a nice little PSA from our Saturday drop-ins happening every Saturday from 1 to 5. So when I come back, I'll have Jamie on here to talk about some of Learning Kitchen. Hey guys, we're back here with Jamie Breidenbach. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
okay,
got it.
Great. And you are the program service coordinator for the Missoula Food Bank, and you're talking about Learning Kitchen.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What is Learning Kitchen?
So the Missoula Food Bank has a learning kitchen. It's the Bill and Rosemary Gallagher Learning Kitchen. That is a community space. So if anybody is interested in reserving the space to do their own cooking classes or cooking demonstrations, they're welcome to use it for free.
Great.
And we are also offering several different cooking classes in the upcoming months that are also free. We do ask that folks register for the classes so that we know how many people to expect.
Yeah, MCAT did a shoot when you guys first opened up. John Tester was there, all the folks were there. It was Missoula Eats was the thing, and I noticed that the kitchen was nice and big. It's a huge kitchen, and it's plenty of space for people for these workshops as well.
Yeah, it's great. It's beautiful. It has all the things that one might have in their home to do lots of different cooking options.
So what's happening tomorrow is the Easy South Indian Cuisine.
Correct.
And that's going to be taught by a volunteer as well.
Yeah, Nanda Smith this will be his first class this year with us, and so he's teaching Southeast Indian cuisine. We also have several other volunteers and partners. The Big Sky Culinary Institute at Missoula College partners with us as well, and so they teach several different classes. And then Mondays we have a kids drop-in after-school program, and it's Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, but on Mondays we're doing cooking with the drop-in.
Missoula Food Bank does a lot of stuff, especially in the community. You guys have worked with MCAT as well. You provided for the lunch program.
We did?
Yes. For the summer camps and all that stuff. You guys also worked with the library, because you guys do their summer programs, like the kids eat free at the library, like all summer long.
Yeah, we do.
So there's a lot of programs in place, and this program in particular is a great way for people in the community to come together and be like, you know what, I like to make enchiladas. Let me show you how to make enchiladas.
And who doesn't love food?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Cool. So if you want to volunteer, you guys have a wonderful website. Nice 16 by 9 frame website right here, MissoulaFoodBank.org, and it's as simple as going to volunteer, contact you guys, programs, and seeing upcoming things as well. Yeah. And you guys have your number, which is 549-0543. Yeah, I mean that's it's Missoula Food Bank has grown. Of course, you got a new building. You're on Wyoming Street, just kitty corner of West Side Lanes. Yeah. So when you guys are done bowling, you get some food.
That's right. Yeah, we are much bigger. We're serving more people, and we're doing more things. In addition to the learning kitchen space, we also have a conference room space that folks can rent out. And Spectrum has a science center downstairs for kids, and it's all open to the community, so you don't necessarily have to be a customer or have ever been a part of the food bank before in any capacity. So anybody is welcome.
Yeah. This is great because I invited you here to talk about some of these classes that are coming up here, and I see a nice list of all this stuff. You got February classes, you got What Do You Know About Chocolate, which is gone. You missed it, sorry. Then you got Easy South Indian Cuisine. It's all free. It's happening tomorrow night from 5 to 7, and then you got a whole bunch of March classes on the shoot.
And then we have some April classes, and to register for the classes, it's through the Lifelong Learning Center. We have a partnership with them, so our registration platform is off of their website. We do have in our community programs there, that page is getting populated
right here
with all of our cooking classes, and so you'll be able to go there and register very soon. So that is
cool.
Under construction as we speak. But for the time being, go to the Lifelong Learning Center and you can search by place. So just find Missoula Food Bank and you can see all of our upcoming nutrition classes, cooking classes.
Is there anything else you want to mention?
I think that's
everything. So MissoulaFoodBank.org, 549-0543 for more information about these classes and any upcoming events as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah. So stick around for more show. Still got a lot to talk about. Got some city council report and all this, so stay with me and we'll be right back right after this.
Hello, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to this edition of Out and About. We're in the practice hall of the Hellgate Roller Derby, and we're going to talk to the captain and see what the Hellgate Roller Derby is all about on this edition of Out and About.
Electric City Wall just trying to
The fact that gender identity and sexual orientation are not included in that is a very, very big lapse in what a hate crime is supposed to do. It's supposed to protect people from situations where they are targeted for a specific reason. And a lot of the times now in Montana, from every person I know, basically, we all have a horror story of something happening. And I would have to say, you know, I'm not trying to be pessimistic or anything like that, but, you know, I'm afraid that it's going to have to take another Matthew Shepard or another Pulse night shooting to happen. Things that are very active and very, very, very real fears in all of our minds at any given point in time. We need that protection. You deserve that, right, as an American and as a Montanan.
The idea that you tell a simple, bold, big lie and stick to it has power. It's hard to deny, particularly if you refute or don't acknowledge any criticism of it. And you repeat it over and over and repeat it to other people, it becomes pretty powerful. And, you know, maybe fake news is one of those right now. I mean, how do we know what's fake? How do we know what's true? That's a better conversation than just having people yell at each other and say, that's fake news. That doesn't get us anywhere because you're really not talking about what's true. But the big lie is telling one over and over and over until it has power. You know, Hitler was good at that. A lot of authoritarian figures were good at that in terms of propaganda. Goebbels was good at that. You know, there have been others throughout history that have been good at that. But I think that's what it means.
You've had the experience of talking with another individual and they sit and they're raptly interested in what you're saying. Their eyes are cast on your eyes. They might be leaning forward a little bit, and you realize what a gift it is that that person is giving to you because they are showing that they care about you. This is something that's very important in the circle process. It's a time for caring, solving problems, building or rebuilding relationships. So the circle process has got a lot of very valuable things that that can be brought to bear on relationships, whether it's 2 people in a circle or 20 people in a circle. And I've been in a circle with 22 people and it works just fine. So what can we do as individuals and organizations? Whether you're in a small group or a larger group of 20, listen mindfully without interruption. Do not be judgmental. Build only on the positive ideas of others. Invite others to tell their stories. This is a gift you can give to them. Ask questions rather than make statements. This is a good key toward getting people to open up and talk to you and tell their stories. If there's one thing I'd like you to take away from my words tonight, it's to realize that every relationship changes with every interaction you have with another human being.
Hey guys, welcome back. And of course, one of my favorite programs on there is Fake News in a Post-Trump Era. And you guys can check that out on Humanities of Montana's Facebook page all you got to do is go to Facebook and look up Humanities Montana. They live streamed it from their Facebook page, and the whole video is online as well. But of course, MCAT will be airing it as you among other programs that you just saw there. If you are interested in having MCAT film an upcoming program of yours, you can go to MCAT.org. MCAT.org is your resource for everything MCAT in terms of documenting any local productions here in local lectures, rallies, and causes. You must be a nonprofit, civic group. You must not be a for-profit organization if you wish to utilize this MCAT's free service for you guys. So you go to how do I request event recording? And that's how you do all this stuff as well. You can also submit a program and more. MCAT is also always looking for focus groups. That's a big thing that's happening on here. Missoula's Community Media Center is looking for what your vision for local media in Missoula is now and for the next 10 to 15 years. Participate in a series of focus groups from April 3rd to the 4th on the future of community programming, cable services, and technology. MCAT's franchise fee negotiations are coming up at the end of this year with Charter Communication. We've never had to negotiate with Charter. The last negotiation we had was with Bresnan Cable back in the day. So this is going to be a new kind of landscape, especially for the future, net neutrality, all that stuff about how you want MCAT to be future. MCAT is a nonprofit organization that doesn't need to fundraise, basically. And Missoula's money is based on franchise fees. So the whole idea is that, hey, you want to use cable? We'll rent you the space for cable. This is how much money you give us, and this is how much money MCAT has from the cable company. So every time you guys subscribe to Charter Cable, you help pay for MCAT. I mean, not basically indirectly. You know, I guess it's directly. I'm not entirely sure about that particular thing, but if you subscribe to Charter Cable, you basically pay for MCAT. And MCAT isn't one of those things that are not governmentally funded, but are governmentally regulated through the city of Missoula. Just letting you guys know, people are always wondering, it's like, oh, the city pays for this? No. People who subscribe to Charter Cable pay for this. Okay, so that's kind of like in a nutshell, just kind of going through the brass tacks of MCAT as a general, but we want to hear your voice April 3rd and 4th on the future of this stuff. You can go to our website, MCAT.org, to find out how you get involved with our focus group. We're interested in your feedback and how MCAT should look in the future, and be aware that MCAT will be moving into the Missoula Public Library, which will be renamed as something like Missoula's Community Hangout Place, because it's not going to be called a library. I don't know. Yeah, so anyways, let's talk about some city council. The Colin Ditch property, yet again. City wants to build a multi-unit complex off Reserve up a block or two from the Orchard Homes area, and people are worried about the size and eyesore value of these properties in Missoula. Is looking to house future residents of Missoula, which is apparently supposed to be pretty big, economically speaking. This is a request from the Colin Ditch Properties, LLC, represented by Territorial Landworks Incorporated, to annex land described to Petition 9862, located west of Grove Street and south of Clark Fork River, containing approximately 10.63 acres. City Council will consider a conditional use request for the Townhouse Exemption Development, TED, 10-plus units for the Colin Ditch Grove Street. So there's going to be 10 units on 10.63 acres, which is townhouse. The TED requires a conditional use approval, with the public hearing scheduled for last Monday following the public hearing on the annexation. And of course, this was a public hearing. Here is Mary McCree, and she of course shows you guys some of the townhouses that will be built in the area. So the whole idea of townhouses is that you'll see these townhouses. There's the nice renderings of what it's going to look like. It's basically how it's like two houses connected together side by side, and then of course the property around it. So it's kind of like putting two houses on one lot at a time, and that's kind of like the idea.
Staff is recommending approval of the conditional use for the townhome development, subject to 14 conditions of approval required for compliance with Title 20, Title 12, and federal, state, and local regulations. Condition number 1 clarifies that City Council...
Of course, here's the kind of look of it, you know, annexation and zoning, plan submitted, development covenants, road improvements. So they're looking at not only when they develop the property, but developing areas around the property to basically make the neighborhood up to code, the right-of-way, all that stuff. There was a lot of detail put into this work. So much detail, I didn't want to really get into it, but I really wanted to show you guys some of the other things that a lot of people were talking about. Of course, as you see there's a lot of detail put into the work of the project. It is really dry, completely dry, but it's also very just like getting through all the details about going through it legally and figuring out all the details, all the brass tacks and all that stuff. And you guys can watch the presentation as its entirety, but I just want to give you kind of a look of what the places would look like. Her presentation pretty much lasted a good chunk of the meeting on its own, but the rest of the meeting was focused on some of the people. Here's Paul Forstein, Colin Ditch Properties project manager, talks about their plans for this site.
We did that. We submitted our first layout about a year ago. We had our first design review team meeting at the end of February of last year with the planning office, and we also met with the fire department, parks department, the engineering staff, and showed them our preliminary layout. And we worked with them over the whole spring through several meetings to talk about building types, the layout, to make sure our infrastructure requirements matched the city's requirements, to make sure that our setbacks were met, to make sure that we generally complied with the zoning requirements. And so we worked all spring doing that, and we submitted our formal application for the conditional use permit. I think we were the first one. I think we were ahead of the other project in June. And so we submitted that in June of last year, worked all summer diligently on different comments back from the city, and when it came to the fall, we had gotten our the go-ahead for our hearings, and here we are today, and we're really excited about it. And so I'm pleased to be here. We're hoping that we'll get a determination today. Of course, we want an approval. That approval will put us in a good position to start construction this spring. And so that's the plan for the project, is to get going on it.
All right, so that was Paul Forstein, and here is another quote from from Frank Kolendich, whose family owns this site for over 100 years, and this is what he had to say about developing the site.
We went through this with several meetings about what properties would be best for the city and Missoula, and honestly, our hearts are really in that. And we thought, you know, if the city of Missoula had the bridge and the bike path which connects everything, and also 300 or 400 feet of river frontage, it would be pretty nice. And it would be a good legacy for my grandparents who bought the property. It would be a good legacy for them. I know that there are neighbors that came forth which kind of surprised us. We thought the project was a very good fit for the neighborhood. The neighborhood has always been a multi-use neighborhood. There's trailer courts, there's construction companies, there's rentals, there's everything in the neighborhood. You know, in all due respect to any neighbors who may not like this idea of what we're doing, when they put the 45-unit low-income housing across the street, there was a lot of protest, and it was directly across from us. But you know, in the long run, it was zero problem. So we have had no issues. And I think you will find, and I think they will find, that as this goes on, that's usually what happens. Things seem like they're going to be a lot worse than what they turn out.
All right, so that was Frank Kolendich talking about some of the properties, about his future vision, about all this stuff as well. Let's see. I have a quote from some of the folks in the neighborhood. Sorry, I'm just making sure that I have the right quotes going on here. Of course, here are some of the neighbors in the area, and of course the last couple months this has been a huge hot topic for people on Grove Street, Orchard Homes area. Jim Betty, representing more than 50 homeowners in the area, is against this.
What we believe is the developer and the builder have options. We can still have the bike trail, we can still have open space. We can build one-story townhouses on larger lots, or we could build single-family homes within the RT10 zoning that are just like our adjacent homes and fit into the neighborhood and still have the same volume of housing. So we would, as the one gentleman said, would really appreciate, as you're making the vote, are you going to fly in the face of the present occupants and homeowners at the request of a builder and a homeowner and a developer who want the density and are putting out for you the open space? But there's abundance of open space in that area on the other side of the river already. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Betty.
All right, so many of the suggestions that the neighborhood say is this, like, this isn't mesh with our neighborhoods. There are too many homes in these areas. It's the neighbors are the whole idea is that they want to basically have like single housing with bigger lot sizes, kind of like the yard and whatnot. Here's another quote by another concerned member as well, and her mother. So here is. There's Nia Meyer and her mom.
Good evening. My name is Nia Myers. I'm a resident from Grove Street and a student from Hawthorne Elementary. I'm concerned about the new development because at my school there are too many students and not everyone has a proper classroom. Also, as a child, I would not like to not have a yard. Children need to play outside safely. It will sadden me that the park that they are donating will have absolutely no play structures. Also, I am also worried because when I walk to the bus stop, there is a ton of cars. I have to wait to cross the street. Most people don't stop for me. Thank you for listening to my concerns.
Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Laura Myers, and I'm a resident off of Grove Street. I live off of Laurie Drive, and I'm with my neighbors in that, we're not against development. We understand that it's inevitable. You cannot stop progress. But, I think that we have to be smart. We have an opportunity as a community to look at how we're developing. And if this many people in this area are saying, hey, we need to do it differently, we appreciate that you guys would take the time to look at that. And yes, the open space is great, and I can understand why you guys would want that and why we would want to move forward with that. But, I feel that there's a better way that we could do this development. And also Grove Street, I don't know if any of you guys live out there or ever traveled out there during high traffic times, and it really is bad. And a mother of a child who has to walk to the bus and there's no signs that say bus stop, there's no crosswalk signs. It's a little nerve-wracking to think that there could be 60 plus new cars a day. And yes, the Milwaukee Trail is there, but realistically, how many of those people are going to commute?
All right, so that was some of the concerns about some of the neighborhoods. I kind of glossed over them. There's a whole bunch of people who gave public comment, but I just kind of wanted to give you the kind of feeling about some of the concerns about some of the people who live in that particular area near Colin Ditch site. Basically, road signs are a Montana Department of Transportation issue, so usually you have to contact them if you want to, put any signs or like slow down kind of things, children at play and stuff like that, because the roads are part of them. Just letting you guys know. Of course, the theme that seems to place is how townhouses actually do have many exemptions on them for construction. Of course, from past meetings, I've covered consisted of buildings of large structures that get exemptions from yards because they are near parks. And if your townhouse/apartment has a park nearby, it gives developers incentives to build infill type homes. Also, they don't have to comply to ADA accessibility standards in any way because of townhouses. Paul Forsting talks about the motives behind the townhouses and why this is a better deal than just building the houses that a lot of people in the area want.
These are going to be $300,000 units, and that's a lot of money for a townhouse unit. There's a townhouse unit up the road that's I think they're asking $309 now for it. So you want to make them attractive. For 900 square feet, you're getting pretty small and pretty aggressive there. The goal is to have them really kind of, it would be our preference to have them larger, wider, more spread out. I mean, the most valuable lots will be along the levee, where those, if you look, there's a $600,000 house on Roderick Way on the levee there. Our houses won't be on the levee. We had to make them compact, but that's at the cost, I guess, of there being open space, of folks in the community being able to ride their bike and go fishing down there, where instead of one person for the house could do that, different layout. And so I hope I answered it. It's really a matter of spacing. We had to fit everything in there.
All right, so that was Paul Forstein once again from the Colinditch LLC Properties. Jesse Ramos talks about the issues for passing this, about how he's conflicted about passing this.
And we're supposed to wear two hats, more or less, for those in the audience. We're supposed to have our personal opinions, and then we're supposed to have our judge hats on. So we're supposed to more or less just look at something based on the issues and the laws. And for that reason, it puts me in a very hard situation, because personally, I support everything about this subdivision. I mean, I support personal property rights and your right to develop it. I really like your vision, Mr. Colinditch. But on the other hand, I put on my judge hat, if you will, and it's very, very difficult for me to vote yes on this, because in committee meetings last Wednesday, I brought up the 1974 landmark Supreme Court decision by the state of Montana about Lowe versus the city of Missoula. And it looks like that decision has been referenced several times during this presentation and different pitfalls of it. And I was just surprised it seemed like nobody else on the council had been briefed on this yet. And then the Honorable Mr. Nugent sent us his legal opinion on it later that day. And I really think that we're opening the city up and the taxpayers up to a lawsuit at this point, because there's several different areas in here that I think could be argued very easily that we are in violation of this decision. And I know there's a lot of folks that are unhappy with this, and it would just be incredibly irresponsible of me to vote yes on this and expose the city to a lawsuit. And I think
all right, so that was Jesse Ramos talking about that. Here's Gwen Jones with a kind of like reply, and this is her idea of she's in support of this motion, and she said that a lot of people did a lot of hard work on this, and they covered all their bases.
We cannot focus on whether or not change is a good or bad thing and the emotional impact from that. We have to focus on the legal framework. And Lowe goes through 12 different tests, which that's why we have such a methodical presentation by Mary McRae, because she's going through all of those elements. Whether there's a different slant on some of those, people can always make arguments back and forth, but when you look at it holistically, I think these 12 elements, for the most part, this is a good project. This should go through. And I wanted to especially highlight test 12 from Lowe, which says, well, the new zoning, and I have to preface, Lowe was a down zoning, so they were, it's a complicated fact situation, but the bottom line was the property owners wanted to put in something dense, and it was instead down zoned, so they could not put in something as dense. So test 12 is, will the new zoning encourage the most appropriate use of land throughout such municipality? This raises a policy question of whether the community needs an apartment complex at this particular site. If there is a need, then error was made to rezone it into single residential homes. Evidence was introduced in the form of the Mayor's Advisory Council on Housing report, which indicated a continual growth in Missoula and a need to replace substandard units. This is back in 1974. Now we're in 2018. We have a Missoula growth policy that we passed in 2015, which said we need to focus inward, we need to build more densely, because we are continuing to grow, and if we don't do that, we're going to sprawl. And there was a policy decision made by the community in which a huge amount of community input was made that we need to focus inward and build more densely. And I think it was actually had a huge amount of foresight, because now in 2018, we really need to pay attention to this, because we not only have an affordable housing crisis, we have an inventory crisis in Missoula. We have a lack of inventory across many spectrums of how affordable, in other words, on all levels, we have an inventory crisis. So we need more units if we're going to retain the Missoula that we want to see in the future. All right, so that was Gwen Jones with the final quote of the City Council report that I did. The meeting went on for about 2.5 hours in total length. You guys can check it out by going on to ci.missoula.mt.us.
It's a wonderful website. It's pretty good. You can watch all sorts of city council meetings. You can watch some committee meetings that are happening today with Committee of the Whole, Public Works, Land Use and Planning, Admin and Finance. All sorts of wonderful meetings where they get into the brass tacks of this. The motion passed. The City of Missoula will move forward on developing the Grove Street Colinditch site. What originally was a multi-unit complex has become more of a townhouse type deal. 2 stories, and of course they want to help match the theme of their own neighborhood that they're building with affordable $300,000 homes compared to the kind of homes that are those bigger lot sizes, which are about $645,000, I think was one of the highest costs for some of the homes in the lot size area. But you can check out this meeting and more by going to ci.missoula.mt.us. So that pretty much does it for that. I do have a nice little video from our behind the basketball. So without further ado, I have this, and then when I come back, I'll have some events for you guys. There's a lot of events happening for your Wednesday, so I'm going to stop talking, and we're going to get right into behind the basketball. We have a bunch of games happening this weekend and more, so stay with us.
More MCAT events.
Oh, we're back. Probably haven't edited that 2-hour episode. Gonna still wait for that. Oh my god, I can tell if you're smiling.
Why is there just gobstoppers in here?
Hey, are you swearing on our Christian behind the scenes?
Yes.
We made a pretty good video today, didn't we, Graham? How you doing, Neil?
Batteries.
There's a Brad. How you hanging?
Oh, Simon, no!
No!
Simon, no!
Run away again. It's like the exact same shot almost in the exact same order from last time.
But we're going a different route.
Different route. We're not going out that outside way.
Yeah, we're not going up a mountain. We're not going up a concrete mountain just to get to a car.
Yeah, Neil parked his car up in Mount Sentinel. Neil, it's a sad day. You know why?
I don't.
We can't rev up the fryers anymore.
Oh, you're right. Rev up the fryers.
Can't rev the fryers. And also, Jack's not with us to film.
Yeah. Jack! You're tearing me apart! You're tearing me apart, Jack! I can't work with you. I can't work. We're filming, and it's dark.
How long did I nap for?
Probably like an hour.
Really?
Get out of my room! I'm playing Minecraft!
Neil, that's it. You're banned. You're banned from a Minecraft server.
Get out of my Minecraft. I'm watching The Room.
0. There we go.
It's 10.
27, 84, 19, but...
What's the deal with driving? I mean,
I'm not driving,
you just push on the pedal.
Heaving.
You just push on the pedal and you turn the axle.
We got red lights. Grant, what do you guys say about
red lights? That means we're gonna die. It's the end of the line.
You need to give a car space in between cars.
This was the place. This was where we revved the fryers from. Good old memories. It was a month ago.
I can't see Subway.
Jack is a liar. What? He didn't do it.
He didn't do the worst gamer in the world show that he was promising. But hey,
this January.
January 1st, he said.
It's starting right now. This summer, January 1st.
For the summer of January.
Yeah.
He never said, like, you know, what year in January.
He said this summer in January.
Summer.
1st.
Yeah. That's next.
January 1st this summer.
Next January.
No.
Yeah.
More like January.
Yeah.
No.
Because Jack needs to get all the money.
There's a lot less people than I would have thought.
Look at that. It's not
Look at that. There's nobody in the parking lot except for like 2 or 3 people.
Wow, where is
Good for us.
9 lives. Cat's eyes. I forgot the rest of the... I'm back, Mom!
Let's get this party started. Let's get this party.
Wow. Guys, I'm betting my entire life savings that the elevator's gonna shut down on us and we're gonna die.
Basketball and oh, there's some basketball.
No, I think it's girls. It's girls basketball.
Everything in basketball?
There's no tables.
You know, I don't think this. No, this basketball game was listed. Is it?
Right? What's the situation right now?
Well, right now there's, as you can see, nobody here. Nobody greeted us. And
nobody at the table saying, hey, you guys found one game?
Nobody over there. Except for people practicing.
Yeah. Which is still weird.
All right, good interview. Let's go.
I think there was a mistake. Maybe it's not. So.
Maybe it was Hellgate all along.
I mean, maybe it's going to be way later?
So, what happened this time?
Well, Thursday.
Apparently, it was scheduled for Thursday, and it was Tuesday.
I'm always available.
All right, well, I think I might be available on Thursday, but I'm not sure.
Behind the scenes gone wrong.
Gone sexual. Pranked.
In the hood. Got pranked. Huh?
Sentinel pranked us with their false info.
See that? It's like power.
This is what happens when you eat beef.
What more? That looks good. One.
That's so
It looks
blurry.
like somebody put like dirt on it.
It looks like that my video game didn't load up properly. Guys, what sounds do brakes make? What? When they're bad? Yeah.
I'll tell Dad on.
Kids, I will turn this car around. Do it. But like a drift where I spin around and then keep driving. Do it. There you go.
Do you
There's a guy right there. He's sad.
Exercising, huh? Just run him over. He looks suspicious.
He's wearing a hood, obviously, and shorts in the middle of winter. Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
oh.
You're suspicious. Just shows you how determined we are. Even though
We're
he got all
determined.
the presents he wanted.
He had cancer.
What?
Whoa.
I was gonna say he didn't have any legs, but that's unacceptable. I was gonna say that, but terminal.
No, he got heart disease.
Why did little Sally fall off the swing? I don't know. Maybe she didn't have any arms.
I don't think we've shown you in the behind the scenes, so this is our this is our big cheese.
Big cheese.
Yeah. So here we are. So our adventure.
It's over.
Find out next time on Ballsy Dragon.
Hey guys, welcome back. So that was a Tuesday night non-game, and we did a game the next Thursday. So yeah, it happens. Sometimes we get called to do things, and you know things change. Here are some of the things that are happening in your area in the city of Missoula, courtesy of MissoulaEvents.net. Starting this morning, Mismo Roots and Missoula Indoor Sports Arena doing some gymnastics stuff for a bunch of kids, happening from 9 to noon. Love Your Library fundraiser continuing on their campaign to raise $15,000 in 15 days. Love Your Library fundraiser at the public library. You can go there, donate. You can go online to MissoulaPublicLibrary.org for more information. Excuse me. NAMI, Managing Your Life. The National Association for Mental Illness, Missoula, is doing a free weekly life skills group for adults living with mental illness. Tiny Tales is at 10:30 a.m. in the Missoula Food Bank. Jamie Breidenbach was here talking about some of the workshops and many other things that they do there. And one of the things that they do with the Missoula Public Library is Tiny Tales at their location at MCAT Place. Missoula Baby Bistro Breastfeeding Support Group. Try saying that 5 times fast. Baby Bistro Breastfeeding Support Group. 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 Try saying that without spraying. Missoula Food Bank Community Kitchen. It's upstairs in the Missoula Food Bank at 11 a.m. Free Mother Baby Support Group for breastfeeding moms and babies. Like the title implies. Older children are welcome as well. Low-key gathering facilitated by lactation professionals. Great opportunity to meet other nursing moms. Enjoy warm beverages and a good conversation occurs weekly. Sorry, I'm immature. So it goes from 11 a.m. to 12:30 Wednesdays. It looks like it's just started today, so if you miss it today, you can always check it next week. Windows 10, because it's closely associated with breastfeeding. Missoula Public Library. Explore Windows 10 operating system. Topics include basic orientation, managing files, and configuring systems, and navigating the internet with Microsoft Edge browser. And you can go to 721 Book, otherwise known as 721 2665, and this happens from noon to 1 p.m. in the computer classroom. Bridge and Scrabble at the Missoula Senior Center if you like bridge, or you like Scrabble if you like both. Starting at 12:30 at the Missoula Senior Center, they have bridge or Scrabble. Spectrum Discovery Science event is happening from 2 to 5:30 p.m. This is use light, shadows, and your imagination to create story and narrate a scene in our makerspace, make a puppet show, draw a comic strip, and more. Middle School Writers Group is going to happen after school at the Missoula Public Library starting at 3:30 p.m. Improve your writing skills. Middle schoolers, UMBA album and current student mixer. VFW, if you are an MBA student, going for your Bachelor's of Business at the University of Montana, and you want to basically meet and greet with some other MBA students as well, they're getting together for a networking mixer at the VFW starting at 5 p.m. It's tough finding good help, especially in the business world. A lot of people would like to stay in Missoula and offer benefits to the companies that are already here, and that's happening at VFW. At Missoula Public Library, once again, Socrates Cafe. It's a great way to have an informal yet intelligent and lively discussion on topics relating to the core areas of philosophy. Happen at the Missoula Public Library today at 6 p.m. Pop-up card making. I think this is really cool. Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center students will learn the basics of creating interesting pop-up card designs from paper and make several finished cards suitable for different occasions like Valentine's Day or birthdays. All supplies provided. Wine Wishes wine glass set. So Painting with a Twist is teaching people how to basically put art on their wine glasses and make it machine washable as well. Starting at 6:30 p.m. at Painting with a Twist. And here are some of your late night events that are happening tonight. You got Brains Broadway Trivia at the Broadway Bar and Grill. You got Silver Slipper Trivia Night at 7:30. You got Missoula Open Deck Society DJ Dance Party. So if you've done networking at 5 at the VFW, you can go to this DJ dance thing at 8 p.m. Trivia Beer Suit is going to be at the Press Box, 8:30. Karaoke is going to be at Eagles Lodge, Sunrise, and the Badlander. They all have different names, but they're all karaoke, so there's nothing special about that. If you like karaoke, great. But if you don't like it like myself, then it doesn't matter. But I'm just telling you about it, so there you go. Missoula Indoor Sports Arena and Roots are doing some gymnastics tomorrow morning on your Thursday. We're in Thursday events. Missoula Senior Center Olympics are kicking off. It looks like it kind of kicked it off from the 5th, starting Monday, so you can join for free fun games and mirth at the very own Olympics all week. The Senior Center. Senior Center's prize will be awarded to daily winners, and new events will be featured every day. Today, it looks like they're doing bocce ball, giant Jenga, cornhole, Scrabble bridge like always. Thursday, they're doing lawn bowling, giant Jenga, pinnacle, mahjong, and bridge. They always have bridge. Horseshoes. On Friday, giant Jenga again, cornhole, cribbage, bridge, and pinnacle happening Friday. So Senior Olympics are happening all week at the Missoula Senior Center, and it goes from 11 a.m. until whenever. Make it and take it crafts Big Sky branch. If you want to make crafts and you want to take it with you, go to Missoula Public Library's Big Sky branch at the Big Sky High School library starting at 2:30 tomorrow. Valentine's Day Love Bug. This is really cute. Missoula Insectarium, and they're come catch the love bug at the Insectarium. This week we'll be crafting charming millipede out of paper hearts, and as they craft, they will learn why the gentle, many-legged creature deserves our attention. And this happens from 3 to 5 p.m. They have a predator feeding at 3:30 p.m., and this is kind of like the thing they make. Look at this cute little bug. You're going to make this bug at the Missoula Insectarium. But there's also other things happening in terms of painting and stuff. So Heart Trees is going to be at middle school age students who are welcome to attend. Starting at 3 p.m. at the Painting with a Twist. It's Heart Tree. Sorry about that. Lego Club is happening in the Missoula Public Library every Thursday from 3:30 to 5 p.m. in the Dragon Rug in the children's area. Lego Club provides kids chances to build and create with Legos and not choke on Diplo pieces. Paper Circuit at the Makerspace at Aspire Democratic High School. Come explore paper circuits at the Makerspace at Aspire Democratic High School. Make a collage, 3D art, or cardboard creations, and then light it with LEDs. So this is Paper Circuits at 4:30 p.m. And this facility is located at 1806 South Avenue, Suite A, and it's laptops and friendly help are available. It's a $10 fee. Punch passes are available, and this is opens from 4:30 to 7 p.m. And like Jamie Breidenbach said, they have Easy South Indian Cuisine happening at 5 p.m. tomorrow at the Missoula Food Bank, happening from 5 to 7 p.m. You get to learn to make your own South Indian cuisine. And this is at 1720 Wyoming Street. It's a free cooking class for anybody, and it happens from 5 to 7 p.m. Be sure to call them 5490543, and then you guys will be able to register for the free cooking class. Paint Your Pet. Painting with a Twist is doing a paint your pet type of deal, and here's a painting of a pet. This is an event that happens tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. at Painting with a Twist. And this last event that's happening for your Friday night is a springtime of Irish music and song, Irish Fiddle. University of Montana Recital Hall. Join them for live music featuring Irish musicians. The concert features fiddlers Orla McCacu and Orla O'Connor. Both Orla. Tickets are available at Rocket News and online through Friends of Irish Studies. So you guys can check that out. It's a springtime of Irish music. And if you guys are interested in doing anything else later that night, here are some of your late night events for your Thursday night. You got Jazz at Plonk. You got Top Hat Lounge, funk music. It's Oregon. You got Tyler Brennan with special guests at the Sunrise Saloon. It's country music. You got To the Ends of the Earth at the Roxy. It's going to be a film. And then you got Rockin' Karaoke at the Dark Horse. All sorts of wonderful things happening. But you, too, can find out more about what's happening in the Missoula area by going to MissoulaEvents.net. If you're interested in finding out more information about my show, you go to wakeupmissoula.wixsite.com/wakeupmissoula. So nice you made you write it out twice. It is a wonderful website for everything local, fun, MCAT, all sorts of things. It's a morning talk show. I don't like to think of it as a news show. I talk about news, but I usually just talk about whatever. But here are some things. Saturday drop-ins are every Saturday at 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's $10 per drop-in. It's like you're paying us $2.50 an hour to watch your kids, and they get to create and make some cool little Lego stop animations as well. We got a huge tub provided by our very own Lori Hudak. Thank you, Lori. And also, we got Spring Flicks coming up. So spring break is coming up around the corner. And if you don't have any plans and you want to kind of have a staycation and you want to send your kids out the door every day from 9 to 3 p.m., with pre-care starting at 8:30 a.m. for only $150 for 5 days, 7 hours in those days of kids just creating short films, doing learning about live broadcasting, live streaming, all sorts of wonderful things that MCAT offers to the community. We'll be offering to kids from 9 to 3 p.m. at MCAT. So if you want to learn more information about this and more about MCAT, you can call us at 542-6228, otherwise known as 542-MCAT. All sorts of wonderful things. You can email us, mcat@mcat.org, to inquire anything if you're too scared to call. But I'm pretty much done for the morning show. Thanks for joining me this Friday. There won't be a Flagship Friday, so there's still be plenty of other show that you guys can enjoy. So for Wake Up Missoula, I'm Scott Ramp, and I hope you guys have a wonderful couple days. And watch out for that snow. It's a-coming.